Was the Apple Vision Pro a success? The honest answer is, it depends on what you think Apple was trying to accomplish. If you're measuring success by pure sales volume, the Vision Pro clearly didn't become a mass-market hit. Most estimates put it at only a few 100,000 units sold, which sounds decent until you remember Apple can move tens of millions of iPhones in a single quarter. Put side by side, the comparison is brutal. But if you measure success by impact, the Vision Pro did something Apple desperately needed it to do. It made spatial computing and mixed reality a mainstream conversation. People who would never spend that kind of money still watched demos, argued about the price, debated what it's for, and suddenly had an opinion on the future of headsets. Apple didn't just ship a product, it planted a flag in a new category, and instantly positioned itself as one of the most important players in that space. That's why the Vision Pro story matters right now, because Apple is rumored to be preparing another product that could follow the exact same pattern, a first-generation device that might sell badly by iPhone standards, but still succeed because it changes the market. Leaks keep pointing to a foldable iPhone, widely referred to as the iPhone Ultra, and if it arrives, it won't just be another iPhone release. It'll be Apple's attempt to redefine what the iPhone can be. And here's where it gets interesting. There's a real chance the iPhone Ultra becomes the Vision Pro moment of the iPhone lineup. Highly visible, highly debated, extremely expensive, and ultimately not owned by many people in year one. The sales side of the equation looks ominous on paper. Early rumors suggest the iPhone Ultra could come with the kinds of compromises that always show up when hardware gets radically redesigned. Depending on which leaks you believe, we could see a dual camera system instead of a triple lens setup, and there have even been whispers that MagSafe might not make the cut, possibly because internal space is at a premium when you're building, around a hinge mechanism, battery layout, and a flexible display stack. To a lot of users, 2 rear cameras can still be good enough, especially if Apple uses high-end sensors and smart processing. But perception matters. Apple has trained customers to associate the best iPhone with a certain look and feature set, and when a new, more expensive model shows up missing things people consider standard, the immediate reaction isn't curiosity, it's suspicion. People start asking, why am I paying more to get less? Then there's durability, the biggest mental barrier for foldables, and it's not even close. The hinge and the crease are basically the 2 haunted words of the foldable phone world. Even if Apple engineers an incredible hinge, consumers will still worry about dust, drops, long-term wear, and whether the mechanism loosens over time. Even if the crease is minimal, people will still look for it, because the crease has become the symbol of foldable compromise. With iPhones, the expectation is simple. It should feel solid, predictable, and premium for years. Foldables, to many buyers, still feel like a gamble. Now add the final complication. Price. A foldable iPhone won't be cheap. Foldable displays cost more, hinges cost more, manufacturing yields are tougher, and Apple isn't known for underpricing new categories. So the iPhone Ultra, if it lands, is likely to sit far above the mainstream iPhone range, potentially above the Pro Max by a lot. That instantly narrows the audience to wealthy early adopters and people who just want the rarest, most talked about Apple product, regardless of whether it's the most practical purchase. And you also have to remember something most people forget when they talk about early Ultra sales. Many of the exact customers most likely to buy a first-generation foldable iPhone are the same customers who already upgrade frequently. If Apple had recently launched another new-style iPhone that attracted early adopters, some of those people might have already spent their upgrade budget. So even if interest is high, the number of people who actually pull the trigger could be lower than the hype suggests. This is where the foldable market reality comes in. Even after years of Samsung Galaxy Z Fold and other foldable phones, foldables are still a tiny share of global smartphone sales, often cited around 1–2% in analyst commentary depending on the time frame. Yes, the category is growing, but it's not exploding into the mainstream overnight. Foldables are still niche, still expensive, still seen as cool, but maybe not for me. So if the iPhone Ultra arrives and sells, let's say, 2 million units in its first year, that would be tiny compared to Apple's iPhone machine. Apple sells tens of millions of iPhones per quarter. 2 million would barely register next to the main lineup. But in the foldable world, 2 million could be enormous. It could instantly make Apple one of the most dominant and visible forces in the category, even if it doesn't outsell every competitor in pure numbers. And that's the key point. The iPhone Ultra doesn't need to win the mainstream iPhone battle in year one. It needs to win the mindshare battle. It needs to make foldables feel inevitable. This is where Apple's strategy starts to make sense. The iPhone Ultra's primary job may not be to maximize profit in its first generation. Its job is to make a splash, to reset expectations, and to convince the market that Apple is here to do foldables the right way. Apple has done this before. It enters a category late, absorbs years of lessons from competitors, then ships something that feels more polished and more understandable to normal buyers, even if it's expensive. That attention is a mixed blessing for competitors. On one hand, Apple entering foldables could expand the entire market. People who ignored foldables for years might suddenly care because Apple is doing it. On the other hand, Apple's marketing power can make every other foldable feel like a pre-Apple product, even if it's great. When Apple shows up, it doesn't just compete, it reframes. There's also a crucial difference between a foldable iPhone and the Vision Pro. A foldable phone fits into a familiar habit. It's still an iPhone. People already understand what a phone is and why they need one. A foldable iPhone simply adds a new benefit: more screen when you want it, more portability when you don't. That's an instantly graspable value proposition. The Vision Pro has a harder assignment. It asks people to wear a computer on their face. That's socially awkward, physically bulky, expensive, and not something you casually see your friends using. It's hard to normalize something that doesn't naturally fit into everyday life yet. A foldable iPhone is much easier to normalize because you'll see it in someone's hand. You'll watch someone unfold it. You'll try it for 10 seconds and immediately get it. That's how new hardware categories become normal. Not just through ads, but through visibility and familiarity. And this is why low first-generation iPhone Ultra sales might not matter much to Apple at all. If Apple can get the first version into the hands of enough influential users, tech creators, executives, celebrities, enthusiasts, then the product becomes a status symbol. It becomes the iPhone people recognize across the room. It becomes the device that makes someone say, "Wait, that's the new foldable iPhone?" That cachet factor can do a lot of work, even when unit sales are modest. Plus, unlike the Vision Pro, the iPhone has a very clear upgrade path. Apple can iterate quickly and sell the idea of improvement year over year. The iPhone Ultra can start with compromises and then evolve the same way the iPhone did. Better cameras, better battery, better durability, stronger hinge, less visible crease, lighter weight, more refined software features designed for the folding, form factor, and eventually a price that becomes less shocking as manufacturing improves and the category grows.